Did you know that Scream, the movie that terrified a generation, was inspired by real-life horror? A series of murders so chilling it practically wrote the slasher movie we all know today. Welcome back to Crime and Cosmetics. We're a little girly, we're a little weird. If you like that kind of content, you'll like it here. Hit that follow and let's get into today's case. This case begins with two roommates in Gainesville, Florida. Christina and Terry were found murdered in their apartment. Neighbors didn't hear anything and no one knew who could have done it or why. The violence was sudden, shocking, senseless. And for Gainesville, it was the first whisper of a nightmare that was about to grip the entire city. As weeks went on, the terror spread. Students stopped walking alone at night. People dropped out of classes. Families organized group sleepovers, locking doors and windows, praying the killer wouldn't come knocking. The attacks didn't follow a pattern that anyone could understand. They felt random, unpredictable, and personal. For those living through it, the fear wasn't in the newspapers. It was in the streets, in the dorm rooms. Imagine for a minute, there is a violent killer on the loose, just going around having a killing spree with no pattern in your city, and people do not know who is next. Sense that someone or something was watching hung over the city like a storm cloud. No one knew who this person was, just that danger could strike anywhere at any time. The city had transformed into a tense, anxious community, and the nightmare showed no signs of stopping. The police were at a loss here. This killer was so clean with every single crime scene. He did not leave anything behind. Those girls in the apartment were definitely not his last. There were two main questions in the police's minds. Who could commit such acts? And two, how could someone move through Gainesville, invisible and untouchable, leaving absolute terror in their wake? And then, 3 months later, the answer finally came. His name was Danny Rolfe. And get this, he was not new to the police. He already had a criminal record. Born in 1954, a man with a history of petty crimes and brushes with the law, he had carefully hidden in plain sight while terrifying an entire city. Multiple students killed, a community gripped by fear, and he was only caught because of a simple human mistake, because of a failed bank robbery. He was arrested, and eventually the dots were connected that he was in fact the horrible monster leaving an absolutely terrified community. He was actually sentenced to death, and when he was asked for his final last words, he sang them. It was very odd. He was an odd man. Also in court, he tried to plead insanity, but even though he did have some mental disorders, he could still understand the difference between right and wrong, so that did not work in court. Even though he admitted to what he did when he was in prison awaiting death row, he claims that he had an alter ego and that a demon possessed his body, and he was even surprised himself at the crimes that he committed. Next time you watch the movie Scream, remember, the movie may be fiction, but the fear that inspired it, that was real. And the man behind it, even Gainesville's most terrifying killer, couldn't outsmart a teller with a cash drawer. That is all I have for today's Crime and Cosmetics. Let me know what you thought about this case in the comments below. Don't forget to leave your case suggestions as well, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye!